All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The final run of DreamHack Austin 2018's NoReset Speedrunning Marathon. With a hat in time, ran by Flarebearrrr on PC. Have you guys been enjoying yourselves so far? Big shout outs to the Stream Zone next to us. These guys have been doing some amazing work all weekend. Go on, guys, let's hear you out. Tremendous neighbors over there. These guys are really chill. So we're just about ready to start. Flarebearrrr, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Can you try?
Pretty good.
Perfect. So how do you feel about your run? You've been putting a lot of practice in this. You've been literally practicing all weekend. You got here on Friday, and you've been going at it ever since. So just enjoy the moment. This is your run. It's the final run of the weekend. So don't worry about anything else but focusing on your run, and everything's going to be fine. I've seen you play. I know you can do it. So just enjoy the experience. Let's hear it for Flarebearrrr, people. All right, so we're ready to go. On your mark, we'll count you in.
Okay, so this game is run on in-game timer, so the timer up there will be kind of separate from what we're doing, but for marathon purposes, we can just start it off of when I start up this file. So I'll start it on clicking yes. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
So I'm Flarebearrrr. This is Connor Ace. We're two runners of this game. Starting things off, some basic information of what's going to be happening. The way that you complete the any % category of this game is by beating the finale, which there's no way around getting to it other than unlocking 25 timepieces. So the routing for this game is just which 25 levels can you beat as fast as possible. Yeah, I can't hear your mic.
Test.
So basically, at the start of this level, I grabbed 2 yarn, if you noticed, and made that little hat right there during that cutscene. This is a sprint hat, which is the first of the few hats you're going to watch me use throughout this run. This will make up the large majority of it because it lets you run faster, and there's multiple movement exploits with it that allow you to do a lot of things that are otherwise not possible. So entering the second level, we're going to kind of be doing the same thing. There's another hat with a really good ability that we also want to use. So I grabbed 5 pawns at the end there so that I can unlock this level right up here. Because it has a lot of fast yarn in it, and we need 4 to make the next hat. So we're going to go grab those real quick.
Also, this entire time, Flare's going to be like collecting pawns to unlock more and more levels. The pawn count is like pretty important to keep track of, but thanks to the new route, not as tight as it used to be.
And pawns are the little green things that I'm passing right now. They're like the currency of this game. So right here, I'm in iframes and I grabbed that ticket. If you noticed, I grabbed 1 and the next one said 3. When you're in iframes and grabbing certain collectibles in this game, it dupes them. And tickets are the main thing that we dupe throughout this run with iframes, and you're going to see me do that one other time. Yeah, I have 2 of the 4 yarn now. There's 1 right here. That's it.
So here, Flare's creating another hat in the cutscene to save a little bit of time, just to play 2 animations at once.
Yeah, whenever you make the hats, you see like the little animation of Hat Kid like putting them together, and you can't do anything during those. So throughout the run, we always put them on top of other cutscenes so that we don't have to stand still and waste time. Yeah, this guy that you chase around gives you a random amount of pawns each time you run into him, 3 being the least like I got right there, but oh no, I won't. I can still make this. I have to catch up to him. Not quite.
Very minimal time loss still.
Yeah, normally you can end up right above his head whenever that spawns in, but I made a silly mistake, so I took a backup route and ended up being okay. But yeah, there are multiple levels throughout the run that you have to have a certain amount of pawns to unlock. And so it's worth checking how many you have at certain points just to make sure you're doing all right. Because if you go to a level that you have to do next and you don't have enough, obviously that requires backtracking, which is big time loss. So this level right here is going to already be an example of why we made that other brewing hat. I didn't really explain what it does yet. Basically, it allows you to charge and throw projectiles, which is good for the few points in the game that we have combat, like right here. For these first two guys, I'm just going to umbrella them. You can throw the projectiles at them if you want. This one right here. And I'm going to jump on his head, go on the next one. It missed. There we go. I'm just going to go collect these. And now we got a minute.
This spot he's standing in right here is just a safe spot. The way that the geometry is set up, it just bounces right off the barrel behind him instead of on top of him. So it makes this already really easy fight even easier.
I think I'm gonna get it. Okay, yeah. Normally you can have it so that you land right inside of it, but I messed up a little bit.
Right here, Flare's gonna skip another cutscene just by exiting back to the main menu right as it starts playing. There's a couple cutscenes that we can skip that way.
Yeah, there's like 2 of those in Mafia Town. One in that level and the one at the end of this level. And that's because it's like still introducing the story and stuff to you. So there's some little story segments at the end of those levels, but then after that, you're fine with those cutscenes.
If you position yourself correctly, you can kill both of those Mafia guys with one swing. But it doesn't make, it's not too much of a big deal.
Okay, so this level is entering into the first real boss fight of the run, not counting that last one we just did. Because it's not much of a boss, really.
And this fight, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this one has a lot more stuff going on about it. This level can be a little bit more annoying to deal with than the last one. But I'm entering a throne room right here, which is like the main entrance to the boss fight. And in it, there's a little like sort of mini boss fight and a cutscene trigger that I can jump over by riding up here on these arches. And then you just jump right over like that. And that skips past those. Whoops, okay. So this attack right here, the sandbag attack, he can do this any number from 2 to 4 times throughout the fight. And how many times he gives it to you affects how much time you lose. Because obviously you can't hit him during that attack. He's kind of just off stage on his own. So yeah, I have 2 already, which is worst RNG so far. In the second phase, he can do it 1 or 2 more times. Okay, I got 3 out of 4, which is alright RNG.
Now, this trick right here is the real reason that Flare has the brewing hat. What he's doing here is he's holding right while in the corner, and with the brewing potion being charged, and because of where he was standing, it causes the Mafia guy to just not be able to get on top of his ball and instead fall to the floor. through the floor, the game just kills the boss and spawns in timepiece.
I'm supposed to have the sprint hat on right now. I scrolled the wrong direction in the hat menu, so I have to switch that whenever I go back to the spaceship. Okay, so I'm going to start explaining the first main movement exploit of the sprint hat. Whenever you're walking normally, you get a jump and a double jump, whereas while you're sprinting, you get one big, like, front flip jump that goes faster. If you're sprinting and then let go of sprint and jump in one of the first, like, 2 frames after it, then you can get both of your jumps and maintain sprint speed. And it allows me to cross a gap like this. I'm gonna fall right here, use the iframes, and have 2 tickets now. So that's a pretty difficult trick. You have to make sure that you're close enough under the tightrope that you actually hold on to all your iframes, or keep your iframes by the time you get there. Oh, I missed that. There's another dupe here. I jumped right past the ticket. There we go. So yeah, that's 4 tickets and just 2, and those were the other dupes that I was talking about. I have, like, no pawns. I have to grab quite a few extra. I need 100 by one of the next few levels to make sure that I have enough to enter it. So right here, I'm entering the same level again. I'm entering a time rift, which are like little secret areas that you can enter.
If you've ever played Super Mario Sunshine, it's like the same thing as the secret levels in that.
Okay, so I made sure I had 100 before I entered that pipe. I got just enough there. So I'm gonna try to go for the fastest cycle on this. Okay, I should have it. A lot of these time rifts have moving platforms like these, so most of them end up being cycle-based. So you need good movement like that to be able to make it, but I made the first cycle. Oh, I jumped past it. There you go. And at the end of every time rift, there's this little roulette where it lets you pick from a wheel of a... Oh, I got a good color. I didn't equip it. Okay, I denied the color by accident, even though I really like that color. But basically, at the end of every time rift, you get that little wheel of cosmetic items. And, oh, I gotta open this. And yeah, there's one item in particular. One thing to note about it is that one of the cosmetics you can get is remixes for the songs in the game. And in this game, a mechanic, whenever like a new story character enters your spaceship for the first time, where you can like talk to them, it plays a little intruder alert cutscene because someone new is there. And the first time you get a remix, this little band of owls shows up in your spaceship. So the first time you get a remix from that slot machine, you get a 3-second time loss, like on its own. Oh yeah, right now I'm taking a lot of damage on purpose because this island is so big and I have to hit all these faucets. It's better to just die and warp back to the beginning like I am now. Because if I had to travel back all the way from there, it would have been longer than just respawning here. There's one more type of warp other than a death warp that I'm going to be doing in a moment on the last faucet. Bounce to this lava 2 times, and I should be at 1 health. And that sets me up for the last one. So the last faucet, you can't die on, because whenever you do the last faucet, it starts playing a cutscene that opens like the end of the level. And if you die during that, then it messes it up. So instead, I'm gonna soft lock myself. And this game has a soft lock fixing feature. Oh, I got it. Nice. So if I get stuck under here, it's gonna warp me back to my last known safe position, which, because I jumped all the way from the top to the level, down to that faucet, it's all the way up at the top. Like that. And now I'm back up. So now there's one more level left in Mafia Town. It's another time rift. Gonna get that one way out of the way real quick, and then we'll be going not to chapter 2 next, but to chapter 3. And one of the reasons for that is there's a lot of levels in chapter 3 that require more pawns to open than we can afford right now. So we're just getting enough timepieces from Mafia Town that we can go straight to chapter 3 instead, and then chapter 2. So there's another fast cycle on this level. This one's a little bit harder to get. I'm not gonna get it. I missed the dive boost there, and because you dive boost off of that slope, you have a lot of speed, and it sends you super far, so because I missed it, there was a decent enough time loss that I wasn't gonna make the cycle, so I just took the backup. There we go. So in heating up Mafia Town, I opened this chest that gave me a thing called a relic. This is a thing that we didn't touch in any percent until just like a day or two ago. And it's because we found a couple of new levels that we can make fast enough to put in the any percent route. So I'm gonna talk to this little guy right here, Cooking Cat. He gives you another relic once you grab the first one for free, because he does this little cutscene where he teaches you how to use them for you. But I'm just gonna snag that one relic and leave. Because the first purple time rift, which is the thing that you make with the relics, only costs 2 of them, so. Now we're done with relics for the run. We just gotta go back and make it later, and then I'll open another time rift for us in Mafia Town. So I'm gonna use that trick called an SDJ that I was talking about a moment ago to skip a large cutscene here. Normally at the start of this level, there's a bunch of firewalls blocking where you can go, so you have to go straight forward. But a runner named Doka found that if you go on top of this tree, you can use an SDJ off of a tiny branch. Focus. Didn't make it. Have to go back and try again.
Yeah, basically there's a very, very tight jump that he can make, a very tight SDJ, that if he goes at the right angle, he can get on top of a different tree and then just from that tree jump over the cutscene trigger.
I didn't have correct speed, one moment.
And the cutscene's very long, so like even though he's missed it a couple times, it's still worth it for him to try it again. And
plus I just want to show it off. It's one of the harder tricks in the run, and it looks pretty cool when you get it. There we go. So I have enough momentum to make it all the way over here, and then I just jump right over that bag, and now we're clear.
Nice. That's one of the hardest tricks in the run, if not the hardest.
Okay, so we're gonna do something similar to heating up Mafia Town here. As you saw when I jumped off that tree, I took fall damage, and I took damage from that cherry as well. I'm gonna abuse that cherry that I just used to blow up that ice to kill me while I'm holding onto the timepiece. And this will do a unique interaction with the timepiece that we haven't seen so far in this run. Basically, in Subcon, there are a lot of levels that, like, the location of the act is located no matter what place you enter them through. It's like, for example, next level is Subcon Well. You don't have to enter through that. All you have to do is go to the well from anywhere in the forest and you can go to it. So I'm gonna abuse that. Gotta grab this. If I die at the end of this level while holding onto the timepiece, it'll automatically respawn me. And then I can just go straight to the well through this act. And that'll skip the time going back to the spaceship and re-entering the telescope and going through it again. So I'm gonna open this chest for a yarn real quick. And then this guy right here is gonna light it on fire. Toss it right next to the timepiece. And there we go. So if you see, I still collected it at the bottom left, I have 9. But it's gonna respawn me back in the forest right away. So now I can go straight to the next level, which is over here. I have to take down one more firewall similar to the one that I just did. So there is a trick right there that you can do to skip watching that little cutscene of the blue firewall going down. But I'm not going to go for it. It's one of the only tricks in this run I'm not going for because the risk of missing it is super high. Or like the punishment for missing it is super high. There's like no backup for it or like no fast backup. But that thing I just did to get up the well, I dove into a tree, and there's certain like objects in this game that have like if their slope is weird enough, then rather than bonking on them, you'll just keep going on them. Whoops. And that one, because it's like a steep tree going like straight up, I just fly into the air. There's a lot of trees in Subcom that have that property. But I just collected the hook shot. And it's gonna start making me show it off right here. This is a hook shot based little room where I have to climb up to the top of the well and get out. But it's pretty abusable. You can skip past most of it. So now it's gonna play this little cutscene where all the water goes out. There's one more part of the level it's gonna load me into, and it spawns me in a river. If I mash, dive, and jump as the level starts, even though it's playing a cutscene, I have like a second where I can move my character still. So I just dove there if you heard it. I got a little extra distance. You can get 2 in, but I didn't. This level we just got with the contract mail delivery service. We're gonna go into this one next, and this level is unique in that I use keyboard and mouse for this, because this is a level where you have to aim and shoot like mail packages at Snatcher's minions. And obviously aiming on a joystick and sliding around is slower. So I grab the scooter, now I can shoot mail packages. I have to find 10 of them to shoot at, so I'm going to pick out the 10 fastest ones. And right here, I'm going to pull up a pause screen right before it pauses a pause screen onto my game. And what this does, oh, I missed it. I gotta go back. Okay. Now, because this is up there, I can quit out while that timepiece cutscene is playing, and just skipping all of it. But pulling up a pause screen of your own before it forces that one there allows you to move around while it's up. So now it's another instance of levels like having loading zones anywhere in the forest, or any act that you can enter them from. Vanessa's Manor is the one that we're on our way to right now, and although we have not grabbed the contract for it, we can enter it from wherever we want. I'm gonna grab one more contract on the way. And this is the Toilet of Doom. This is a level that has not been seen in the any % route until very recently, like I mentioned a moment ago. And it's the main reason why the route has changed so severely. So right now, there's a bunch of little puzzles with these ice walls here. Some you have to climb over by using things called dweller platforms, or just blowing them up with cherries, but you can make it over every single one of them by just platforming past them. And now we're headed straight to the manor.
So once he actually enters the manor here, there is a little trick that he's going to be doing that's not a glitch, but a little shortcut that the developers put into the game as a shout out to the speedrunners of the beta of this game. It's going to skip all of the spooky bits in the level.
Yeah, basically, there's this little hole in between these two barrels right here that skips the really long, like, sort of horror level. And it just takes me right to the end like this. If I jump on top of this door, I can make it over a cutscene trigger, like that. Even though I missed it 2 times, it's still faster, because it's a pretty long cutscene. Okay, so next we should be entering into the toilet boss. This boss has... Someone has found a quick kill for the boss that lets you kill him at basically the very start of the fight, ending it like basically as soon as you get there, and it makes it super fast, and that's how we do it in the run now.
What Flare's going to be doing here is he's going to be attempting to just pause the game at the correct time, like at a certain animation in the Toilet of Doom's like block, like whenever he's teleporting. And if he pauses at the right time and then changes his graphic settings to cause a little bit of lag, then it will just immediately despawn the boss.
Oh, whoops. I messed up the menuing. There we go. Still got it.
And the
Okay,
boss
see,
is
now
dead.
it's just dead.
For whatever reason, the boss just vanishes from existence, and the timepiece spawns.
You can do the thing I talked about in mail delivery service, where when it forces a pause screen onto your screen, you can just use that to quit out of the timepiece, but as you saw, I misremembered and I was standing in the incorrect spot, so I didn't get it. But now we're gonna do the 2 time rifts, and then the boss.
There aren't many like normal time rifts that we skip in this run just because they're all so fast. Because they're all just like raw platforming levels. So as long as we can get to the actual like secrets quickly, we can do this.
There is a fast cycle that you can go for here, but it's the most lenient out of all of them, pretty much. Like, you have a lot of room to mess up and still make this. You just need to get here high enough that you can still grab onto that hook shot, and I made it at the very top. That is less good than the color that I'm currently wearing, so I'm not going to accept that. Now I'm gonna sort of explain the other 2 movement exploits with the sprint head that I haven't really talked about. One of them is a DSJ, or double sprint jump. And what it is whenever you sprint jump while, like, right as you walk off of a ledge, you're like sort of reset for a moment, and you're permitted to jump again for like a certain amount of frames. I don't remember exactly how, but it's a short time. So like right here, you're gonna see it on this tree. If I sprint jump twice, I get 2 like that. And the other one is a triple jump, where instead of doing a second sprint jump after the reset, you just do 2 normal ones like that. And that triple jump allows you to gain really big height, and that's how I can make it up there so easily. Another DSJ here. You can kind of see when Hat Kid like sort of does the front flip animation twice. That's what I'm doing it. There's a big puzzle at the end of here where you hit these bells to go around, but I can jump on top of this one right here and skip straight over it and grab the timepiece. And now we're on to the final boss of this level, Snatcher. Another level that was only added throughout very recently. This boss also has a pretty quick kill, kind of like the toilet one we just did. I'll talk about it when we get there. It involves abusing, like, his position inside of the center of the arena. Okay, so right now he's standing in the center, and for most of these attacks, it's not intended that you're supposed to hit him, and you're supposed to, like, throw this potion onto him that makes him hittable. Because, like, he's supposed to be invincible right now, but he just peeks out of here a little bit, so I can just keep swinging at him.
Right now, Flare's just trying to hit him a certain amount of times before a certain point in the fight, because he actually cannot die, even though he can run out of health. Like, at this point. So he's just trying to make, I don't remember the exact number, but you have to hit him a certain amount of times, and then once you can throw the blue potion at him, then you can hit him a final time to trigger, like, the end of the fight.
So now we're gonna get the potion that I was talking about. You need to hit him one time with the potion to actually end it. So I just gotta get one in there. There we go. Please tell me someone's putting BFF copy pastas in the chat right now. There's a copy pasta of all the text that HackKid writes onto this, on this contract, about Be My BFF. He gave us back our soul right there, which we never technically lost in the first place because we jumped over the cutscene where he steals our soul from us, making us do all the contracts for him. So now we have 2 souls, I guess. But yeah, now we're done with Subcon. We're going on to Chapter 2, which is Battle of the Birds. Real quick before I get there, though, I have to make that relic that I was talking about.
So by making this relic, it's actually unlocking another level in Mafia Town for us to do, which we'll be able to go back and do later.
So we used to go through most of this entire chapter, or world rather, but we found levels that are fast enough that we just kind of do half of it and then leave, because we don't need to finish it. So all of these penguins and crows and stuff like that are on cycles, and those cycles start and end whenever the NPCs are actually loaded. And this is a mechanic that we abuse a few times throughout Battle of the Birds. Basically, based on your camera's draw distance setting in the game, you can manipulate when their cycles start and end. So I'm gonna stare at the wall right here. I'm manipulating a guy that's up in front of me by not spawning him until I want him to spawn. And then his cycle should be good for when I get to him. Yep, just in time. Oh! I didn't jump high enough. Okay, I messed it up anyway. Yeah, now I gotta go back and try again. That penguin at the end there is really brutal. Like, whenever he sees you for a single instant, you immediately get caught. So you have to jump, like, pretty well over him. Yeah, like that. I just didn't go high enough the first time. That's fine.
Now he's gonna do like a little mini cutscene skip here just by talking to the bird again, or the penguin again, quick enough. It plays 2 cutscenes at once that he can mash through. Save just a little bit of time.
We need to give you a book.
Used mouse a little bit there just because I needed to click on that little done button. Now next we're going on to Murder on the AliExpress. This is one of the other levels where you actually use some movement with keyboard. And it's because it has these crows that you can talk to, and they like ask you questions. And like you answer the questions by typing in certain things. And it like uses that to name like certain things in the level. There's only one that you can't go past without talking to, and it's this one. And using keyboard there makes it faster, because whenever you enter one of those text things on keyboard, it allows you to just type it on its own, like on your keyboard. Whereas if you were to enter it on controller, it puts up a little pop-up keyboard on your screen that you have to scroll through with your joystick, which is obviously slower to go through. So now we've found the murder, started the main sequence of the level. Now the second half of the level is going around and investigating the murder, collecting evidence and stuff like that, trying to find out who it is. But that is a lot of time to go around and do stuff. So I don't really feel like doing that, and I'm just gonna hop on top of this door right here. And I can jump all the way up to this button, which unlocks the top floor early, which is a big sequence break, because normally there's a lot of stuff and a lot of keys you have to grab to get up to this point. But I skipped grabbing most of the keys in the level.
That one jump probably saves like 2 to 2.5 minutes.
So right there, you saw I moved up for a little bit and then got teleported back to the start of the room. Whenever you do that sequence break, it does that. I don't know if it's just confused because you're not supposed to be there yet or something like that, but after a couple of seconds, you get teleported back to the start. You can actually enter that door that I was trying to go through before you get teleported back to the beginning, but it requires like near frame perfect movement. I've like literally never got it in a run before. I've come close far too many times. Yeah, now we just use this one key. It's the only one we need. We just unlocked that last door. There's evidence up there, but obviously we don't need it. So we didn't grab any evidence the whole time. And if you do that, then it just defaults it to the conductor. So the conductor is automatically the murderer. Okay, next we're going to the other side of the story, which is DJ Groove's levels. The conductor's levels are all on his train, like the one we just did. These are on his party on the moon. So this one, the way you beat this level is by getting a certain amount of points by talking to a certain amount of penguins. You're like trying to get as many fans as possible. So taking pictures gives you a lot of points, doing these endorsements with DJ Grooves gives you a lot of points as well. There's an endorsement I passed at the start of the level where you have to save a dog from being stuck on top of a statue. Whenever I did that endorsement that I just did, that little cutscene with DJ Grooves, for whatever reason it spawned in the dog from that endorsement even though I never began it. So if I just go to this right here, the dog is already there for me to save, quote, save.
So it essentially skips just half of that cutscene that you normally have to watch.
Okay, so now I equip the brewing hat at the end of this level on purpose. That's because I like to do gallery right after this level, which is one of the 2 time rifts in this game, or one of the 2 levels, period, that are located inside the spaceship rather than in a chapter. So this one is right here located behind those boxes that you have to blow up with the brewing hat. So that's why I like to put it on at the end of that level. I'm gonna use another double sprint jump here on top of this peg. Okay, yeah. Once you get that, you have enough height that you can jump straight up to that block and skip going around it. Oh, whoops. Okay. I have to do a backup. Alright. I didn't make the fastest possible cycle at the end there, but I got the beginning part, which is the main important thing. A little bit of a miss menu there. So now the next level we're entering is a time rift on this train, so we're gonna do the little keyboard bit again. Now this level has a really important cycle that you have to make. It's with these buttons that I'm headed over to right now. Okay, I got it. Yeah, landing on the third button as soon as you get there is the fastest cycle. I was able to make it over just because I got really good speed off my dive boost. If you dive boost at the right time off of a slanted surface, then the slanted surface makes your dive boost go way faster. It's called a slanted dive boost. I did not mean to sprint jump. Yeah, because I sprint jumped, I didn't have a double jump to redirect myself over to that platform. I have the ultimate outfit right now. I have my favorite color and hat. What godlike RNG. Now we're entering the last level that I'm going to be doing in Battle of the Birds, which is Train Rush, the second of the 2 conductor train levels. My controller turned off, okay. It's fine. This one is more based on quick platforming rather than the slow investigating of the train. And this thing, everything's just going wrong. There's a bomb, you gotta go detonate it by making it to the end in time. But that is more than enough time for us. Pretty good so far. Make the ice hat here. This is the last hat we make in the run. You're only actually going to see me use it one time.
There's one level that we need the ice hat for to actually get into. And it's faster to get all of the yarn to actually enter that level than to do any other level in the run.
I forgot, there is actually one more level that I'm going to be doing on keyboard. It is the entrance to this time rift right here. And it's because I'm going to be entering it by dive boosting onto it from really high up. And you have more freedom with your camera when you're on a mouse than you are on a keyboard, and I need to look basically straight down. So I use the keyboard kind of just to help me out a little bit here. Like that. But yeah, this is a pink, purple time rift, whichever one you want to call it. And these have a bunch of different rooms with those pipes right there where you have to collect a certain amount of these pawns to enter them. So we're just going to grab the bare minimum of which ones we need and then leave. These are definitely my favorite levels in the game, and it's honestly a blessing that we finally have one in any percentage. I can grab a bunch of pawns from this last orb right here, but I don't need to. I've more than enough. Now there's 2 levels left, one left in Mafia Town that we didn't do earlier because we didn't have the money for it. It costs 50 pawns, which we have way more than that now. And basically, when we're entering it, it's going to tell us, like, are you sure you want to go through with this? We're missing a key item, which is the time stop hat. Casually, you're supposed to grab a time stop hat that allows you to slow down this guy that you're racing against. But played well enough, you can just straight up beat him on your own without using it.
Get ready. Go!
I should be fine. I think I have more than enough time to beat him still. Yeah. And now there's just one time rift left. The only place now that we use the ice hat is used to enter this level. And the second level that is in the spaceship and rather not a chapter.
This level is the fastest level, like, in the game, period, outside of 1, but we don't have access to that level, but we do have access to this one.
I didn't make it? Okay, I got sniped off by the deadly Elvis birds.
This level's very unforgiving, like if you mess up any movement just because of these birds. It makes it a giant pain sometimes.
Okay, and now that we have 25 timepieces, it's automatically gonna start the finale. And starting here, didn't go. I'm gonna change a graphic setting real quick. That makes it kind of easier to see some stuff that happens in finale. There we go. So yeah, it looks kind of different now. It's a lot plainer. There's like less like flashy lighting and stuff like that. I'm gonna use it to use some visual cues in this trick at the end here. So just by standing on this platform as I rise it up, I can sort of skip a cycle just by jumping up as it's falling down. And now there's a lot of stuff that you're supposed to do to get over this gate here, but you can use this clock to jump over it. And so now at this point, we're not supposed to be here. There's a hat that we haven't made at all called the Dweller hat that you need to not only get past that gate without jumping over it, obviously, but there's a big wall, like, at some point in this level that you have to have that hat to get rid of it. And that's why it gave up that prompt again, are you sure you want to enter? Because you don't have the key items that you need. Well, there is a way to get past everything that's located in this level. It's called Finale Skip. One of the biggest time saves in this game. So there's a hole in the wall near the beginning of this level here that I can use to get out of bounds. Just bounce through it like that. And now I use these two little walls right here and climb up to the top. And soon I'm going to be standing on top of the level. And it's a big arch, like it isn't flat. So I'm going to use this angle to kind of slide on top of it. I'm going to stand at the edge here so I can get the best speed. So obviously, because this is fast, you want to be down at the edge here as much as possible. But unfortunately, there are invisible walls and holes and glitchy stuff like that that you have to get around. The safer way is to just get up and walk on the top so that you don't fall off. But I'm going to be going for all the strats here. So I just... Go ahead.
What Flare is going to be doing here exactly is he's going to be just flicking himself upwards slightly so that he can just skirt around these invisible walls. And by doing that, it lets him continue to slide and save like a good amount of time over like actually walking up. And then right here, there's actually an entire invisible gap that he just jumped over. As well as like invisible walls that he's dodging. Actually hitting all of this is not easy in the slightest, and messing it up at all like costs you a lot of time.
Yeah, messing up that trick loses like a minute. But I got past it fine. I'm back up now. I just gotta enter the fight and make sure I don't die, and then I'm fine. I just have to make this jump to get back in bounds. There's a cutscene trigger that peeks out of the wall a little bit here, so I can use that to go back.
Excuse me.
Now he has to do this first stage of the Mustache Girl fight with only 1 HP, which isn't too difficult, but it's a lot harder than it sounds. But it's a lot easier if you get all these double hits that he's getting like that.
Basically, she has certain attacks in her attack cycles that whenever she starts them, she doesn't teleport away immediately, and so you can hit her as she's starting them up. The one time that I lost the combo, it's because she did an attack where she teleported away right away. So I got 3 hits and then 2 right after, which is pretty solid RNG for that phase. So I'm going to use a lot of projectiles in this fight, mainly because she has this attack that she uses a lot where she throws timepieces from the air, which you can't go high up enough to homing attack her or hit her with an umbrella. So you just throw projectiles at her. We do it again here because normally you just hit her with the Mafia Ball every time, but as you can see, it takes a while for it to come back down, so using it as little as possible is necessary. So I'm going to stand still here because whenever she punches you there, for whatever reason, she teleports away like a fraction of a second faster.
Now, in order to actually hit her, you have to hit her with like these explosive cherries that they give you. It is completely random how many times she will re-enter her shield. But if Flare gets lucky, then hopefully it won't be too many times. Right now she just re-entered immediately, which is kind of
Yeah, getting really bad RNG with cherries right now. Mustache Girl's not being nice to me. RNG just doesn't exist in this game, it's just Mustache Girl. Finally got a normal attack. 4 cherries still, which is borderline worst possible RNG. And that makes it even worse. So what he just did is when he threw the cherry to me, sometimes he'll throw it so that it lands on top of her shield, which means it's gonna bounce off of it and go all the way to the other side of the arena. And every time that happens, you usually don't have enough time to get the attack and you have to wait for another.
That was very close to the worst possible RNG you can get in that phase of the fight.
Yeah. One of the worst outcomes you can get, except for her, like, going out of bounds and falling on the floor for one of her attacks, because that can also happen sometimes. Right there at the end of that cutscene, or, like, right before the cutscene started, I threw a potion. It's kind of lingering in the center right now. If it doesn't disappear, That potion actually stays there throughout the cutscene. Yeah, I can still see it. There's a chance that it'll hit her right as the phase starts. But usually it doesn't. Yeah, most of the time she just teleports away from it. I'm gonna try to get some more double hits here.
This stage of the fight is very chaotic and pretty technically difficult to do. Like, there's a lot that you have to learn and memorize and just know how to execute. Flair did a very, very good job there beating Mustache.
Yeah, that was a really good final phase and pretty good RNG on it too.
Time will be when he hits this timepiece wall. Time.
Yep. Your time was 54, okay. Yeah, that was a not awful run. I could have done way better, but this is with doing a route that I just learned. Like, it was discovered after I already came out to this event, so I haven't had any time to practice it at home, just out here.
Flair was sitting here in the back grinding out like all the different strats that he had to relearn like during this whole event.
Well, once again, another one saying it was a terrible run and these bad, whatever. Dude, you destroyed that game, no matter what you say, and you've practiced the new strats over the weekend. So everyone, huge round of applause for Flarebearrrr. I mean, you went with all the experimental stuff that you hadn't had time to practice for a long time. You know, you were telling me that, there's new stuff that's been discovered yesterday, so I got to practice today. And you delivered. So your run was amazing. Did you like the experience at least?
Yes.
Perfect.
It was fun.
So let's hear it one last time for our last runner of the marathon, Flarebearrrr. All right, everyone. So this is it. This is getting us closer and closer to the end of NoReset Speedruns at DreamHack Austin 2018. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for the show's closure. And honestly, it's unbelievable that it's already over. But what, you have something to say? Go ahead.
I have one last thing. Do we save or do we kill Mustache Girl?
She did give you pretty bad. She did give you pretty bad RNG. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
normally when Mustache Girl gives me horrible RNG, I don't help her out. There's this little sequence at the end here where you can either give her a timepiece to help fight the Mafia, or you can just not help her out at all.
Okay, guys. So save or kill? All right.
I'm hearing a
Who
prominent
wants
save.
to save? Who wants to kill? Save. Kill.
Kill is louder.
Kill.
I'm biased towards kill anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Other than this ending credits cutscene, that's all I got.
All right. So this is it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for the post show.